Hello. I like to use films in teaching craftwork concepts because it allows a group of people, whether they're together or separate, to view the same event with no difference whatsoever in the presentation, and then to make their interpretations and hear each other's interpretations of the precise same event. In real life, if someone tells me they had a discussion with someone, I wasn't there usually, and they're going to tell me what their impression of that discussion was. Even if something happens and we both witness it and they talk to me about it, they are telling me their memory of that event, of that discussion. When we have a film of something, then you've got something you can replay over and over. So, for instance, I assigned a movie one time called Witness Protection. And in the movie, the wife of the main character was absolved of an accusation. And when we got back together as a group, one of the people said it was the wife who did it. And we were confused because there were not only one scene, there were several scenes that explained that the wife was absolved of the crime she was accused of. And what I think happened there was that the person who was watching the film had an issue with the actress, the character, the situation, something that triggered an internal memory of their own. And they decided the wife was guilty, and they didn't hear the explanation that she hadn't committed the crime. It was valuable for me that someone would be to understand that someone would be so overwhelmed by a personal memory that they would ignore what others would consider simple fact. So when I use film, it allows me to present the same thing to a number of people, and then in discussion, we can hear different interpretations, understandings, responses, and reactions to the same event. And with a short clip, we can even replay it and say, what was I thinking when I saw that? How did I not see event X, Y, or Z? So a full movie is long and is an investment in time. And what I learned to do is I learned to edit down a movie to critical elements that illustrated specific ideas that I wanted to discuss with the group. Recently, I found a 1950s melodrama called Harriet Craig that is a terrible potboiler. It's a cliche nowadays. It's an old movie with old structure. And at one point, it has what is termed a reveal, the scene where the character tells the truth and exposes the plot and their motivations and so forth, which is a little heavy-handed for how we like to watch our movies today. But for understanding a character and for illustrating concepts, this makes things crystal clear. So it's a wonderful movie to use to point out character motivation and how people react. So I took the movie, which is about an hour and a half long, and I condensed it down to scenes to give you enough information about the characters so you'd understand the big reveal scene. And it wound up being 11 minutes. Now, this film, Harriet Craig, was done in 1950. It was a remake of a 1934 film with Rosalind Russell, which was a film version of a stage play. And the original film was very melodramatic, very plot-heavy. By the 1950s, society and film had gotten interested in the psychological underpinnings of why people did things. So this made the film, they skewed the film more toward the character's past motivation, which made it more interesting, perhaps, to us. So I have created the 11-minute clip. I invite you to watch it. This month we're working on the 3 personality types of reason, will, and emotion, focusing on the defenses of love, power, and serenity. And that's what seems to be the easiest elements to point out in this clip. So that's why I'm presenting it this month. So as a parlor game, as a way of noticing concepts, I invite you to take the list of character traits from this month's June 2015 study guide on love, power, and serenity, and have it in front of you while you watch the clip. And notice what character uses what dispenses, what characters are in what kind of distortion. And of course, the film is primarily about Harriet, played by Joan Crawford. So I hope you enjoy it, and I hope to do this again with other segments of film. And I also find on YouTube that people have already done this with some films. And sometimes they have done it so well that I can use it as examples. And those I'll put in a link in some of my newsletters. So welcome to this small clip which follows Harriet Craig, 1950, with Joan Crawford and Wendell Corey. Thanks.